Hello there. Hope you're doing great. Welcome back to another session on cybersecurity. In this session, we're going to take a look at how to establish a Metapreter session. So, what is it we're going to take a look at is how to establish a Metapreter session from Kali Linux to a vulnerable Linux machine that's running Metasploit 2. So we're going to see how to establish a Metapreter session in this demo. But even before going into this demo, we should understand what is a Metapreter session and what capabilities we get by having a Metapreter session from Kali Linux to Metasploitable. So this is my Kali Linux machine, and we are going to establish a Metapreter session from here to my victim, that is also a Linux machine that's running Metasploitable 2. So before even starting off with the demo, let's take a look at some basics here. Let's take a quick look at what is a Metapreter session. A Metapreter session is an interactive command shell that an attacker establishes on a target computer system. So an attacker establishes an interactive command shell on a target computer system, of course, after successfully exploiting a vulnerability. So what are the key aspects or key characteristics of this Metapreter session is it's an advanced payload. See, in my earlier demonstrations, I have shown you how to hack into a system using by exploiting this FTP vulnerability. So after exploiting that FTP vulnerability, we got access to the system using a basic command shell, wherein we are able to write some basic commands and execute certain basic commands on the victim. But here it's an advanced payload. We can do a lot of other things like accessing the webcams, playing audio files, accessing the mic. All such kinds of features are enabled or available with Metapreter. So it's an advanced payload and it is fully in-memory operation. So Metapreter runs in the target's RAM, and it's not going to write anything to the files on the disk. So it's going to have an higher stealth operation here, and it is DLL injected. So Metapreter is often deployed by injecting a dynamic link library to an existing process on the victim. And the entire communication is also encrypted, and whatever that is happening between the attacker and the victim is secured with encryption. Staged execution. So what Metapreter payload does is, so we have this attacker and we have this victim. So what the attacker does when it is going to establish a Metapreter session is, first a small payload. You call that to be the stager. A small payload is sent, and this payload will execute on the victim, and it will establish a reverse shell with the attacker. So this reverse shell is established, then a larger part of the payload. So the next stage will be sent, which will enable the feature-rich capabilities of Metapreter. So you're going to have the Metapreter session, uh, the Metapreter session established in multiple stages. First stage is an initial small payload that goes in and it establishes a reverse shell. The second stage is an higher stage wherein we send an higher payload to actually run all those feature rich capabilities of Metapreter. And Metapreter functionality can be further extended. So it's a post-exploitation thing, can be further extended with the use of lot of post-exploitation modules. So what you can achieve with a Metapreter session, as I told you, you can have the file system interaction. You can browse files, delete files, copy files, all those things, upload, download files you can do. We can gather system information. We can gather the network configurations, the install softwares. You can gather information about the OS and the user accounts. Process management, you can terminate processes. We can list all the running processes. Privilege escalation, we can gain higher levels of access like root privileges or administrator level access. Credential harvesting, dumping password hashes from the system is possible using Metapreter. Network pivoting is like using this compromised victim, we can also attack other systems in the network. Likewise, we have other features like we can capture the keystrokes, like that's what is this keystroke logging all about. And the screenshots, as I told you, you can have webcam access using this session. Not only that, you can listen to the mic of the victim, you can list the mics available, webcams available, all these things you can do. You can execute arbitrary commands on the target system. You can execute these shell commands. We can migrate processes, and we can also create persistent backdoors after you establish Metapreter. It's like if even if the system reboots, you can gain the access later. So you can create persistent backdoors, and we can also run custom scripts. So you can write your own scripts. We can move it to the victim, and you can execute the scripts remotely from the attacker. So this is just a small overview of what a Metasploit session is and what you can do with a Metasploit session. We'll go to the demo now. Before going into the demo, this is the architecture. So we have my attacking system, that is Kali Linux here, and this is my victim system. And I'm running these two virtual machines on my VirtualBox 7, and my host operating system is Windows. And I'm going to create a network of virtual machines using this specific option on VirtualBox, that is host only adapter. I will write it here. It is host only adapter. So we have already seen how to set up the lab for our cybersecurity experiments. If you're not sure about how to set up this lab, I'll be leaving the link for that video in the description below. Have a look at it. And here we are going to run Metasploit. So the tool that we are going to use for establishing Metapreter session is the penetration testing framework, Metasploit. We have discussed a lot on Metasploit. I have posted a lot of videos on what is Metasploit, modules in Metasploit, how we can exploit various vulnerabilities in the victim using Metasploit. I will leaving the link for those lectures in the description below. If you're new to Metasploit, have an understanding of this and come to this session. So we're going to run Metasploit. From within Metasploit, we're going to see to that we establish this Metapreter session from our Kali Linux to Metasploitable. So what Metapreter session does is, first it sends an initial stage, and then it establishes this reverse shell. Once when that is done, the next stage is going to send all the feature-rich capabilities. The payload will contain the code for having all the feature-rich capabilities of Metapreter, and then that's going to enable a lot of functionalities on the victim side for the attacker. So this is what we are going to see, and in my demonstration, I'm going to show you how to establish this Metapreter session, and then we will transfer code from my system to this system, and that will be a small piece of Java code, and I will demonstrate how you can execute this Java code remotely using this Metapreter connection. So now let's go to the demo directly. So let's start with the demo now. I have two machines here. One is Kali Linux and another one is Metasploitable 2. Let's take a look at the IP address of my Kali Linux machine. It is 192.168.226.3, and these two machines are communicating with each other using the host only adapter option on VirtualBox. So let me also go to Metasploitable 2. Let's take a look at the IP address. The IP address here is 192.168.226.4. So we have these two machines. Now the objective is we will exploit the FTP vulnerability on the victim machine. So for exploiting this vulnerability, we'll be using the penetration testing framework Metasploit. So Metasploit we are going to use. See, Metasploit we have already discussed in depth. We have seen how to exploit the FTP vulnerability using Metasploit framework. So I've done this in one of my previous video lectures. I'll be leaving the link for that video lecture in the description below. Have a look at it if you're new to this concept, or else you can just go ahead. So now we'll exploit this FTP vulnerability, and for that we'll log into Metasploit sudo msf console. Let me enter the password. So from Metasploit, we'll be using a module to exploit this FTP vulnerability on the victim. So here we have our Metasploit. Let me search for this module BSFTPD 2.3.4. So this is the exploit we are going to use, and we know that the victim runs an vulnerable FTP service. For that, we used to perform an nmap on the victim's IP 192.168.226.4. That's the victim's IP. So when you perform this nmap, you'll be able to see there is this FTP port that is open. And if you're focused on the services, what is the command you're going to run? It's nmap -sv. So you're going to take a look at all the services running on this victim. So here, when you talk about this service, this is what I was telling you. It's an outdated FTP service. So we'll be exploiting this specific service using this exploit. So we'll use that. So let's clear screen, use 0. So we have selected that exploit, and we'll take a look at the options that we need to set for running this exploit. So we need to set the remote host IP, and that's it. Remote host port number is 21. That is the FTP port. Let's clear screen. So set har hosts 192.168.226.4. See, if you're worrying what these steps are, as I told you, we have already had many sessions on Metasploit earlier. I'll be leaving the link for those sessions in the description below. Have a look at it so that you have some familiarity with this tool before even understanding Meterpreter. So here we are setting the remote host, the victim's IP, and we can just go with exploit. Oh, we need to set the payload too. So we'll set the payload and then we'll go with exploit. So this is going to exploit the vulnerability on the victim, and it will establish a basic command shell session with the victim. So let me again run it. See, there is a basic command shell established with the victim. So the backdoor bind listener has been opened. So this is from Kali Linux. It has opened a shell with our victim. So what is this basic command shell? You can run some basic commands. Say I can list all the files. I can move to directories. I'll be able to get the files. All such basic command line things you can do here. So this is what we have done. And we can take a look at the help. So these are the commands that we are going to use for handling our Meterpreter session. So help gives us the help menu. So background, see right now we have established a command shell session with our victim. We can put that session in the background using this command. And we can list all the sessions we have with the victim using this command sessions. We can upload a file to the victim using this command upload. We can download a file to the victim from the victim using this command download. So we can do a lot of things. No problem if you've not understood what these things are. First thing we'll do is we will use this command background. So what is that we understand is we have established a basic command shell with the victim. So we will just put this session in the background. For that we'll type the command background. So it's going to ask us whether you want to put this session in the background. Yes. So why we have this feature? See, you can make a session to run in the background so that you can do other things with your Metasploit. See, when I put this session in the background, now this session is in the background and I can do other things, explore other things with Metasploit. So I can very well list all these sessions by just typing the keyword sessions. So this is one of the commands. When I type sessions, all these sessions you have with the victim is listed here. So we have one basic command shell that is established with the victim. You see, this is from Kali Linux to my victim machine's IP. So that is the use of this. And once when you have backgrounded a session, the next thing is we are going to upgrade this basic session to a Meterpreter session. So for this, we are going to search for an module that is shell underscore to Meterpreter. So we're going to upgrade this specific session to an advanced Meterpreter session. So we'll search for this and you're going to get this post multi-manage shell to Meterpreter. So we will select that, use 0, and we'll take a look at the options, show options. And what we need to set here is local host, that is where we're going to listen. See, there is a reverse shell established from the victim to the attacker machine. So local host is actually the IP address of the attacker. So we'll set host. The IP address is 192.168.226.3. This is the IP address of my Kali Linux machine. So we have set, and we should also set the session. which session we are going to upgrade to Meterpreter. So the session we are going to upgrade is the session with the ID 1, the basic session. We're going to take this session and then we are going to upgrade this session to a Meterpreter session. So we have to set that session to 1. That's it, and then we'll run. So now it is upgrading that specific session with ID 1. So we have used this module shell to Meterpreter. We have set the local host, which will be listening for uh, requests data from the attacker. So we have set the local host to the attacker's IP, and then we have set the session to be 1. What it says is it is going to upgrade the session to a Meterpreter session. So that's what it's saying here. Started reverse TCP handler. So there's a reverse shell established, and you see there are multiple stages. So stager in progress, which is having lesser number of bytes, and then there is a stage which is having a higher number of bytes. This is what I was telling you. When you're establishing a Meterpreter session, first a smaller payload will be sent, and that will establish a reverse shell connection. Once when that is done, a larger payload will be sent that will help us with having the advanced features of Meterpreter. So our Meterpreter session is done. Let us take a look at the various sessions we have with a victim now. So you see we have our basic command shell, which we established earlier, and we also have a Meterpreter session with our victim. Now what we'll do is we will select this session. So we'll select sessions. We'll select the session 2. So it's hyphen I, and then we'll interact with the session 2. So we are interacting with session 2. So that's what is this. We are selecting this session for interaction now. So now we have this Meterpreter session. So we have successfully established a Meterpreter session with the victim. Now let us take a look at the various help commands here. See, this is what I was telling you. Meterpreter is more advanced than a basic command line. So you can do everything like the basic commands you can do, like sessions, background, all those things we have seen just now. Not only that, we have channel, we can close a channel, we can do other things. We can also do all the file system commands like copying files, creating directories, all those things. So search, upload, downloading files, deleting the specific file. So lot of file system commands are available as part of the Meterpreter session. And networking commands, you can also check the ARP cache of the victim. You can check the interfaces running on the victim. So we can display the network connections on the victim. Lot of things. We can also view and modify the routing table. And system commands, you can execute uh, code remotely. You can kill processes. You can list the processes. So you can do lot of things at the system level. And webcam commands. So we can list the webcams, we can stream the webcams. So all those things are possible with Meterpreter. We have mic commands. We can listen on the mic on the victim systems, and we can also list the mic. We can start and stop the mic. We have audio input. We can play audio files on the victim. So these are the various options available with a Meterpreter session. So what we'll do now is my demo is going to be on just transferring file from Kali Linux to my victim. It's a Java code, and then I'm going to run this Java code on the victim. So this is going to be done using this Meterpreter session. So for this, let's take a look at the Java code I have written. So here, this is the simple Java code we have. So let's do sudo cat hello.java. Simple hello world program. So just is going to print hello, and we are going to transfer this code from Kali Linux to our victim, and then we are going to execute this code remotely from Kali Linux. So for this, what we have to do is first we need to upload the file. So let's upload. What is that we are going to upload is we'll upload hello.java to the temp folder. So we are going to upload this file hello.java from our machine to the temp folder on the victim. So you see, we have finished uploading the file to our victim. So we have completed uploading the file hello.java to our temp folder on the victim. We can just check that on the victim directly. So here we are on the temp folder. When I perform an ls, you see hello.java is uploaded on the victim. We can also check that from here. See, we can traverse the directories here. I am moving to the temp directory on the victim, and then I perform an ls. You see hello.java is available. If I want to delete this file, I have to give delete and hello.java. So that's how easy it is to delete upload files. Now what we'll do next is we'll see how to compile this file hello.java on the victim. So let's execute this command. So to compilation, for compilation, it's execute -f and the java c command we are going to use. The arguments we are going to pass is hello.java. So we are already in the temp directory. We have traversed to that. So what is that we are giving here is execute -f java c. So we are compiling hello.java to create the class file. So let's run this. So it's created. So now let's perform an ls, and you see hello.class file is created on the temp folder. Where this is created, it's actually present on the victim. So when I perform an ls on the victim, you see hello.class file is created. So we are remotely executing certain modules, certain code on the victim machine. So that's the use of execute command. Now we have the dot class file. Let us run this code. How will you run this code? For this, we use execute and -f. We are going to call Java. See, when you execute a Java program, it's Java, and then now let us execute the Java code. For executing the Java code, the command is execute -f. It is Java, and then the argument we are going to pass is hello. That's it. And we should give an -i so that we interact with the channel. So the output is coming back in a channel, and then you want to interact with the channel, you give an -i so that you see the output on the screen here. So here is the output, hello. So what is that we have understood here is we have transferred a file from Kali Linux to our victim machine, and we're able to view the files here. And we compiled that Java file to create a class file, and we created the class file. Next thing is we executed the Java file so that we get the output, and we give an hyphen here so that we interact with the channel, and then we get the output directly here on the screen. So that's about executing Java code. Like this, you can transfer an entire keylogger, and then you can try and get the file. You can download that file, and then you can see what that file is. So all those things you can do. Let's take one more example. Let's transfer a simple keylogger to our victim. So what this keylogger is going to do is it's going to take the input through a console. So it's a basic keylogger, and it will log the keys to a file. So I have got this very basic keylogger here. As you can see, what this does is it gets the input from a console, and then it writes the output to a file, console underscore output dot text. So this file we are going to transfer. So let me transfer it. Just what is the present working directory we are in? We are in the temp directory in a victim. So we'll just upload this file to the temp directory. So what is the file we are going to upload? Keylogger.java. We are just going to upload this, and it's uploaded. We can very well check. We have keylogger.java uploaded. We can also directly check it on the victim too. So we have keylogger.java there. The next thing is we need to compile this. For that, we follow the same steps. Execute -f. What we are going to use here for compilation Java C, and the arguments we are going to pass is keylogger.java. So process created. Let's check whether the the file has been compiled. So yes, here we have keylogger.class file created. We can very well check that on the victim too. So keylogger.class is created. Let's execute this keylogger file remotely. How will you execute? Execute is the command -f, and for executing Java code, Java, and the argument we are going to pass is keylogger. So this is going to execute the code, and then it's going to return as a channel. We'll interact with the channel, so it is -i. And you see now the code is executing. Execute. Satish is doing a very bad job, something like that. And to exit keylogging, we have to just type exit, That's it. Input saved to console underscore output dot text. Let's perform an ls, and you see input is somewhere in this file. So we'll view that file console underscore output dot text. Satish is doing a very bad job. That kind of a file is having the keys that we have typed in, and you want to download that file to your system, you can very well perform that. Download console underscore output dot text. Finish downloading, and now you can go here, and then we can perform an ls, and then cat console underscore output dot text. That's it. It's done. So that's it. We have come to an end of this session. We have understood many things. We have started off with what is Meterpreter. We have seen how to exploit this FTP vulnerability, establish a basic command shell with our victim, and then we have seen how to upgrade this command shell to a Meterpreter session using certain modules on Metasploit. After establishing this Meterpreter, we have seen how to upload files to our victim, how to compile the Java code, how to execute the Java code remotely, how to delete files, how to download files from the victim. So Meterpreter is a very interesting topic, and we have just explored some of the concepts in Meterpreter, and I leave the rest of the things to you, so you can explore more of the feature-rich capabilities of Meterpreter, like accessing a webcam or accessing the mic or playing audio files on the victim. So just explore it and enjoy working on it. That's it for this class. Have a great day.